Previously, on the last Pokémon FireRed challenge run. The feeling that one of the translators for the game was a knob. And coming up, this is Giovanni. He's a bit crap. There's something about Generation 3 Kanto, I just can't keep away from it. We are coming back to FireRed for semi-regular visits to try and get the Generation 3 leaderboard a little bit more filled out. Now, unlike before, we're going to be targeting all of the Pokemon available in Generation 3, as opposed to sticking to just the Generation 3 Pokemon in FireRed. And today we're going to be running KINGRDA. Now, before getting into the challenge, we'll take a look at the stats of our KINGRDA. We are level 5 and we have a mild nature on this one. 24 HP, 16 attack, 14 defense, 17 special attack, 16 special defense and 15 speed. We've got Swift Swim as our ability, and we are running with Bubble, Smokescreen, Leer, and Water Gun. Now, that is the starting KINGRDA we have for this challenge. Before we get into the challenge proper though, I'm going to remind you all of how the FireRed leaderboard looks. And so at the moment, Lapras is very top of the FireRed leaderboard with a 121.35. We've done 7 FireRed videos up until this point, so KINGRDA is going to make it number 8. I've no idea where we're going to finish on this leaderboard. I'm hoping ahead of Meganium and Kecleon there, maybe even ahead of Linoon, but I am very, very rusty. So now let's get the graphics up and this challenge underway. I don't have auto timing on Generation 3, so expect me to inadvertently miss a lot of splits, but I will do my best to try and keep up with it. I am in a life of luxury in Generation 2 versus Generation 3, but I really, really want to play some Gen 3 games again. We get through the first rival fairly quickly. Now, this first FireRed video is likely to be a little bit talkier than subsequent ones, because I want to talk about some of the struggles I had in previous iterations of FireRed and what I am doing to try and mitigate them on this particular version and iteration of FireRed. One of the big things is building the challenge run patch. This has been a very long time coming. It's still in very, very early days. There's a lot that I need to do to get it into a releasable state, but we can at least now set the starter, set the IVs, set the nature, and all that good kind of stuff. That was a big thing for me, having to break up the recording session, grab the starter Pokemon, edit it in PK Hex, and then come back to the challenge was actually kind of annoying, to the point where I really didn't want to record FireRed runs because it was such a pain in the bloody bum. But now we don't have that issue. Everything's set in-game. Another thing is I'm not going to be doing the same music as I do in the Generation 2 challenges. In Generation 2, I curate the music to exactly what's going on screen. However, and this might be controversial, I really, really don't like the Gen 3 music. There's something about the sound font of it that just really rubs me up the wrong way. So I'm probably just going to go for some thematic background music, still from Generation 3, but not necessarily going in time and in beats with every single key battle that we have like we do in Generation 2. Now, as for other things that have changed, we are doing end of the line as standard here in Generation 3, unless we decide that we need a move from an earlier evolution. We'll likely be doing end of the line. That does mean that some of the other challenges could get a redo in a few months' time. Try and get their times back up to speed. Now, in FireRed, we are going back to catching the HM friends. I haven't coded in the HM items yet, so they will be making a welcome return to the challenges. And in addition to that, I will still be getting Flash. I've only just, after 3 years, learnt my way around backwards Rock Tunnel in Crystal, and I don't particularly fancy learning it in FireRed quite yet. Never say never though, that could make a return at some point. And the other thing to bear in mind is I only take my FireRed challenges to the end of the first league. That is where I feel the game finishes. Everything else is post-game. We don't have a big boss like Red at the very end of the challenge, so that is where we will finish. Now, talking of finishing, we've got to start before we finish. That was a terrible segue, but we're beating up Brock. Level 11 acquired against the Geodude, 2 one-shots. They're 4 times weak to water. What did you expect? Boulder Badge has been acquired. So that is the first of our 8 badges. And it has auto-split for some reason. I've got a feeling those splits in the bottom left-hand corner are going to go a little bit haywire throughout the course of this one. I will try and keep on top of them. I've clearly run my old auto-splitting pilot script here instead of the correct one. Now I am going to get another 5 balls, and I'm going to pause the timer now to try and fill out the decks, much like how we did in Pokemon Crystal when we paused the timer to catch the HM friends. Because there's a big element of RNG, we are going to pause the timer for each and every attempted catch of a Pokemon, and resets also will not count. So I've got a lot of catching to do here, and then we'll meet up when we are ready to move on. And now we have made it back out of the forest. We've caught the first few Pokemon we need in order to get Flash, and we can make our way over towards Mount Moon. I've done a stream and a lot of coding since we were last together here in this video, so I'm hoping that everything holds up. Unfortunately, Generation 3 and Gamehook are not the best of friends, so I can't use the same ways that I did in Generation 2 to get the auto-splitting working. There are certain times where Gamehook just completely resets itself. You may notice in Gen 3, the overlay will sometimes either linger with an old set of stats, or it will jump to 0 for a very brief moment. I'm not sure what causes it, and also as well, I should add, we're actually only on about 3.5 times speed. I've kept the FPS counter in the bottom corner for this particular challenge, but Gamehook slows down our Gen 3 games to around about 220 FPS as opposed to the 240 we see in a Crystal. So that has been the case ever since the beginning. I only noticed it though after restarting Generation 3. It's one of the reasons why Gen 3 probably feels a little bit slower than other games, but if we know that it's happening and it's consistent, then it ain't a problem. Or at least that's how I am dealing with it. I'm choosing to deal with it by not doing anything. Now we can pause the timer here, because we've got more HM friends to catch. We don't want a Pidgey. We are looking first of all for a Nidoran. We'll nab one of you, thank you very much. But the main Pokemon we are looking for here is going to be Spearow. We are going to be catching our Kenya. There we go, and can you believe it? It's a nice female Spearow. First ball, I will override the catching mechanics at some point to guarantee first ball captures with everything. But I'm still learning Gen 3 code, and goodness me, it is a very, very intimidating set of code. We will now resume the timer, and we will grab this berry. I can never remember what the berry is here. A Persimmon berry. Sure, that'll be handy for something. I will be honest with you, I'm clueless with most of the things when it comes to berries and stuff like that in Generation 3, but it's all part of the learning process. Kenya is our first HM friend. We should probably heal, seeing as we're here as well. Might as well take advantage of Nurse Joy's services while she's offering them for free. And we'll make our way into Mount Moon. Now here in Mount Moon, I'm keeping a repel off until we find a Paris. If we don't get one on this Fleur, then it is going to be a guaranteed encounter on the Fleur below, so we don't have to worry too much. Plus, all of these are easy KOs, so we get a little bit of extra experience points. And we're about to hit a bit of a choke point, actually, when it comes to experience, because after we've left Mount Moon and we've jumped over that ledge, our only place to train is Route 4. And if you've ever done training on Route 4, you know that's not a pleasant experience, because you can be stuck between a rock and a hard place, between the rival and Misty, and if you can beat neither of them, then you just have an all-over terrible time. We will catch this Paris. First ball again. It's almost like the game's modded itself for me, and now we can get lost in the bag and try and find the repels. So much to learn. My brain is mush already, and we've only got one badge in. I have just noticed as well, that timer has paused itself. Goodness me. I can't even blame the timer software for that. That was all me. I forgot to press restart after we'd caught Kenya. So that was a bit silly of me, wasn't it? Hopefully now we will have a smooth run from here on out, but something tells me we won't. Do we even have an antidote? We do, thank goodness. And our Paris is holding on to an item. We'll pick it up and sell it for some money. Right, we'll get the right-hand fossil this time because that's the one I was in front of. I'm not really that fond of the fossils, so I'm not going to pick either one kind of automatically or manually. I'm just going to go for whichever one's in front of me. And we are now at Roots 4. We don't have hands, so we can't learn punches. We don't have feet, so we can't learn kicks. We can't learn Raw, but we can sell it for money on the black market later. And now we can make our way into Cerulean City. First thing we're going to do here is heal, because I know what's coming up. Rival 2 is coming up, but we shouldn't have the worst time of it today, at least in theory. There's a rare candy hidden in the flowers there. Not quite sure what it's doing in there, but we'll take it regardless. And I reckon our best move now is to go and try and defeat the second rival battle. And therein lies the issue with the second rival battle. Sand attack. It is so frustrating. I genuinely detest sand attack. We also have nothing for this Squirtle. So we're just going to have to hope that his AI is terrible. He got a crit there as well, which is equally as bad for us here. We are taking a reset. You know what, I'm going to try and get just up to the next level here in the grass and see if that makes any difference. But look at how slowly we're leveling up with the wilds here. I know people complain a lot about the Johto level curve, but I think the early game Kanto level curve, and Kanto's level curve in general, to be fair, is equally as bad. It took them a while, should we say, for them to get used to how people will want to level up in this game. So we've just got to make the most of it and do the grind, and eventually we will get through and get some extra levels. If it doesn't work this time, we'll go and beat up some of Misty's gym trainers. We are, of course, the water type, and we quad resist water type moves, so it shouldn't be too much of a hassle to go and get the early levels there as well. So we do have few more options than we're used to at this point in the game when we're stuck, but it's still not great. Level 19 acquired though, 15 water guns to our name. Let's see what happens. Pidgeotto comes out. It's going to be a 2-shot this time. No, it's not. It's going to be a 3-shot. And we have been sand attacked again. Still a range on this rat, but we're on 39 for the Squirtle. If we get through the Squirtle, we win, ostensibly. That's how it works. The trouble is we can't even try and get another move, because we don't have a better move until much later on. Another bloody crit. Let's get into the gym. Maybe the gym is the better idea. I will hasten to add, these runs will get an awful lot smoother the longer we do them. We are in the learning phase. And I'm not just saying that to cope with the fact that I am terrible at FireRed at the moment. It is true, we will eventually be at a point where we're like in Crystal, where we know the game like the back of our hand, but this game is surprisingly complex compared to the Generation 1 games. There are a few more mechanics you have to keep in mind, and the battle engine as well is completely different. Didn't even get up to level 20 through those two. Let's get out of here. Let us get into the Pokémon Center, and we'll beat up a couple more wilds again, see if that can make the difference. Into level 20, we've got a Spearow here, we one-shot it, not quite enough experience. Hopefully this rat doesn't quick attack. Of course it quick attacks. We'll go in with 3 HP missing. I think if we're losing with 3 HP missing at this point, we're losing anyway, to be fair. Now the Pidgeotto should be a 2-shot, but you never know. It is a 2-shot, but that was a crit. Who knows if that mattered. Get rid of the rat in 1 this time. We've just got to have a war of attrition against the Squirtle now. Our accuracy has been lowered, which is frustrating, but as long as we can just keep on hitting it, then we will get through just like that. The Abra's completely passive in this setting, and we have defeated the rival. Thank goodness for that. He gives us a fame checker. Glorious. Really wanted that. Let's heal, and let's catch Abra. I do a lot of complaining about Nugget Bridge in Gen 2, but I think the Gen 1 Nugget Bridge is just as egregious. We get through Rival 2, which is a very high-leveled battle for the area, and then we're stuck with all of these low-leveled fodder Pokemon to try and scrape a couple of levels. These could all have been emails. At the very least, they could have been condensed into like 2 trickier battles. I know we get EVs from all of these Pokemon, that's about the only benefit to battling a bunch of wilds like this, but it is still incredibly frustrating to do. Thank goodness we've only got 2 more battles left here in Nugget Bridge. We've got this rocket in disguise as our last one. And then we will be able to pause the timer once more. And remember to unpause the timer this time to catch our Abra. And because we are, of course, playing a Generation 1 version of a game, we don't really have that many interesting Pokemon on Team Rocket. It's just Ekans and Zubat and a few rats and the like. Now, Abra is not a common encounter on this route, so we could be here for a little while. I don't know why I bothered ending that clip. Next encounter, we get the Abra. Let's see, we should have 1 Pokeball left to catch this Abra. And again, first ball, very good stuff. Let us now resume this timer, and we're going to use Abra's services straight away to do a quick PP heal in Cerulean City's Pokemon Center. And then we can continue up on one of very few dead-end routes, actually, in all of Pokemon. I think Route 25 is the only dead-end route until maybe Sinnoh. I could be mistaken. There might be another route in Hoenn that is a complete dead-end. But you don't count routes like Route 43 in Johto as a dead-end because it's got the Lake of Rage attached to it. This just goes to nowhere, really. Nothing important at the top here. Bill lives here, but we don't really care about him enough to call him important. Now, there is one important item here on this route. That is this TM. Oh, I cannot stand the TM case. Let us teach Secret Power straight away. We'll get rid of Bubble for Secret Power. Bubble is an absolutely terrible move. It's just Water-type Constrict with slightly more base power. But that gives us now a move to hit the Pokemon that resist our Water-type moves. I'm looking at you, Oddish, there. You go down in one shot. Now, this is an awful lot better. And you know what? We'll use the Secret Power against Pidgey as well. Showing off that it is a very versatile move. Now, Bill's being Bill. I'm not going to pass judgment or comment on Bill's activities, but he's here. He's back in his human form, and he doesn't want to go to the party, so we'll go in his place. Right, with that, I can't be bothered walking, so we'll teleport back. Do a quick heal. We've already beaten up Misty's gym trainers, so that means we can go straight in to Misty herself. So let's now take Misty on, the Water-type specialist of Cerulean City, and she leads with Staryu. Secret Power's a one-shot on the Staryu as we grow up to level 25, and it's looking like a 2 or 3 shot against the Starmie. She's getting caught in a healing loop. We can finish her off very, very easily, and that means we get the Cascade badge in a time of 18 minutes and 2 seconds. Now, with Misty's badge acquired, we're going to do a heal here in Cerulean City. And we're going to try and not heal now until after we have defeated Lieutenant Surge. By not heal, I mean, of course, in a Pokemon Center, we can get as many heals as we like on the SS Anne. So we do have the option to replenish our PP that way. But that's for a little bit of cheeky teleport strategies coming up very, very shortly. Now, we should have a much smoother ride now down to Vermilion City. I think the tricky part of this challenge is over just by virtue of not exclusively having water-type moves. We are able to hit pretty much anything for neutral damage, I think, that's going to come up against us. And this Butterfree has just ruined my day. Stun Spore was probably the worst move that could hit us when we're trying to avoid heal. But hopefully we'll be able to get some kind of Paralyzed Curing item in the Vermilion City Pokemon. If they don't, we are a little bit banjaxed. I suppose we could go straight to the heal on the boat, actually. That might save a little bit of time. I've got to do kind of thinking out loud in this particular version of Pokemon at the moment, just because I'm not used to its quirks yet. Now, we mustn't forget to speak to the chairman of the Pokemon fan club. We are going to want the bicycle, and we have to speak to him in order to get the bicycle. Do they sell anything useful in this Pokemon? Because we will need some more repels anyway to get us through the bloody awful rock tunnel that's coming. They've got a Parlor's Hill. We'll do one of those. And we'll get some super potions as well. That should see us fit for a little bit. And we will do a bag heal, see how the menuing works in this game. It's going to be a lot of trial and error, I think, to get the most optimal way of playing this generation. I am at home in Generation 2. I am not at home in Generation 3. Now, I do appreciate there are permanently missable items here, but I think the only ones I want to pick up are going to be the berries. I think these berries are important. We don't need any of the TMs on the boat in this particular challenge. And I've got myself lost, as I always do. I will learn my way around this boat one day. Oh, we have to go up, don't we? And here's the rival battle. Let us take him on. There's also a reason, by the way, that I stopped doing Gen 3 when I started doing live voiceovers. Because I am not comfortable playing this game yet, but the only way for me to get comfortable doing live voiceovers while playing this game is to do these videos. So I can only apologise for the completely disjointed nature of this video. I promise you it will improve over time, and I hope you're all going to have fun on the journey regardless. Because it is going to be a fun journey learning FireRed and eventually Emerald as well. But I don't want to have too much on my plate all at once. I will do one game to begin with and we'll go to the other game another time. Now, do we have any ethers? No, we don't. Do we have any leper berries? No, we don't. We're going into Surge's gym with just 2 PP to our secret power. That should be fine. We do, however, need to teach Cut to our Paris. So used to having the Scythe at this point, we will teach Dig as well. And while we're at it, let's upgrade our water gun to a water pulse. Water pulse is a very good move, actually. It's one of my favourites. It's a shame that you quite often get surf very soon afterwards, because water pulse is not a bad move at all. Would you look at that? We first tried the electric puzzle here. I'll get rid of that in a challenge run patch. Oh, goodness me. Gentleman Tucker is a mandatory trainer, apparently. I'd never realised that. We'll get rid of his single Pikachu, and we will now take on Surge. Surge is our 3rd gym leader together today. He is an electric type specialist who leads with Voltorb. Water Pulse is a one-shot on the Voltorb. Out comes Pikachu, we outspeed and we knock it out in 1. And the next one is going to be Raichu. Raichu's double teaming, which is annoying more than anything else. Thunder Wave again is more of an annoyance than anything else. And we have defeated Surge. We've got his badge in a time of 22:46. Let's get out of here. We'll chop down the tree. And we are going to go back through Diglett's cave now. We are wimps here. We don't do flashless rock tunnel, not at the moment, at least in Gen 3. So that does mean we've got to make the trip through Diglett's tunnel. Thank goodness it's not that long of a trip. The trip is actually longer than in Gen 2 though, so we do have that to deal with. And just here, we should be able to say we have 10 species of Pokemon. We get Flash, and just in time as well, because we are about to go into Rock Tunnel. There's an ether that would have been nice to have a little bit earlier on. Let's teleport back, and now because we didn't heal in Vermilion, we can take a nice cheeky little shortcut, and we find our way back to Cerulean. Before we leave though, give us the bike. We've been on our own 2 feet for quite long enough in this challenge. Let's register the bike, and there we go. Now my movement can be even worse than before. Rock Tunnel is unnecessarily long in Generation 1, but we have now made it through the other side. We will grab the berry that is just here, and we can leave and make our way in to a Lavender town. We'll do a heal here, and then there is an important item we need to pick up at the very, very south of Lavender in this gate here. It's a very, very poor little girl who's lost her Pokemon, but she does give us the return TM, and we will make very good use of that later on. We do have 95 in our physical attack, so return will be fairly useful. Now here in the Pokemon Tower there is another rival battle to sink our teeth into. This is rival number 3, and he leads with Pidgeotto. Going to try a secret power or 2 against Pidgeotto, and we'll move on to the Growlithe. Intimidate's fine because we can Water Pulse, and that brings us on to Execute. We've been sent to sleep, which is annoying. Hopefully he won't critical hit us too much, and we've been seeded. It's all going all kinds of wrong. This execute's a little bit mean. Let's try that again, shall we? Hopefully next time we won't have quite as bad luck. We'll Water Pulse Pidgeotto in one shot this time. Here comes the Growlithe once more. We outspeed and we knock it out in one. Executes next. Let's try Twister. Yeah, Twister was the right play the entire time. Just wasn't thinking properly on that first attempt. Twister's been disabled, that's fine. We'll swap back to Water Pulse. And then we'll Twister. No, we can't Twister, so we'll Secret Power this Wartortle. And then we will Twister it. Seems like a good idea, doesn't it? There we go. Get through this time. The sooner I find my feet again in this game, the better. It will get there eventually. I'm just very out of practice. And unlike Crystal, where even when I do take a few breaks here and there, I've played so much Pokemon Crystal that I could probably put it down for a year or two and still be pretty good at getting good times. I'm also not on form at the moment in general with my gameplay. I've noticed a lot of sloppy errors, but I can't help it. It's like any kind of person who does things in a speedrun setting. You're going to go through good and bad periods, and it's my responsibility as a runner to match the Pokemon to how I am playing. So if I'm not playing too well, then I'll play the Pokemon who were never going to get a chance at top 10. Those who are going to post a good time for them, but not a good overall time. And then when I am playing well, that's when we bring out the big guns, the Kyogres, the Zangooses, the Ursaring, and the like. Because that's when they will get their best possible times, and that is when we can potentially break personal bests. I do want to try and get my personal best down even further in Crystal over the course of this year, but it's not a priority. My priority at the moment is having fun, filling out the main series leaderboard, doing some fun Supermon and 4 moves challenges, while also trying to learn another game or two on the side. Now, while we're in Celadon, I think it's worth giving Erica a go here. I can't see her going too badly. She is a Grass-type specialist who leads with Victory Bell. Of course, she has Stun Spore. That's not great. Let's try brute forcing this. See if that makes any difference. If Stun Spore misses, we should be fine. Did kind of forget that she had Stun Spore. We could maybe play for a flinch with Twister. Oh, she didn't go for Stun Spore that time. That's fine. Tangler's next. Tangler is very physically defensive, but terrible on the old special defense. And we'll flinch this Vileplume. She's caught in a bit of a healing loop now. I think it might all be over for Erica. Very nice gym battle there. Time of 38:06 for the Rainbow Badge. Now, I've put it off for quite some time. Did the Rainbow Badge to avoid it. But I've now got to go into the underground of the game corner where shenanigans are afoot. But much like in Generation 2, I'm not going to make you sit through it. Let's skip to the very end. I will congratulate Giovanni for his hideout here, because he's managed to make a place where time just becomes an abstract concept. Somehow that was shorter than the Mahogany Underground, yet it felt like about 3 times the length. We are absolutely fine against Giovanni though, absolutely nothing he can do. Very underleveled, and we get ourselves the Silph Scope. Now, we're not being ambushed by Giovanni's grunts here because we have Dig, so we are just leaving. And we did also get Fly, we have Erica's badge, so instead of taking the long way back, we'll teach Fly to Kenya. And then we will make our way back over to Lavender Town. And now, after clearing out all of the channelers here, we can beat up this Marowak. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody ran Marowak in a 4 moves challenge in Pokemon Crystal? That'd be a very good idea, wouldn't it? Have to think about that maybe. Coming up soon. I've got some ideas for the Marowak challenge actually. So it will be much sooner rather than later. Now we've got even more rockets to deal with. Much like in Generation 2, there are 3 main rocket sections. I'm counting this part, by the way, as still being part of the Celadon City rocket section, because it's all intertwined into one. And this one is kind of the length of the radio tower. we can at least skip a lot of Silph Co. We'll do the bare minimum required to let the game let us progress when we get to Silph Co. In the meantime, we'll have a little chat with Mr. Fuji. He then makes you speak to him again, because he's not a particularly nice person. And that does mean we now have the Pokeflute. The Pokeflute is going to let us wake up one of the two Snorlaxes. We'll go for the one at Celadon, because I want to take a trip down Cycling Road. I think that's going to be an awful lot quicker than trying to navigate that pointless section of the Kanto map. In fact, I'm going to pause the timer and go on a little bit of a whinge here. Let's get that map back up. What is the point of this entire quadrant here? There's nothing to do in this section. It is just complete dead space. Stick a town here. Stick something. Stick the Safari Zone out of Fuchsia. Give us a reason to go here. It annoys me no end. Because both in Generation 2 and Generation 3, we never see that quarter of Kanto. It's just there, idling away. And now after making it out of Cycling Road, Birdkeeper Bob isn't here. But we do need to get scammed now by going into the Safari Zone. We have to pay money to progress in this challenge, even though I'm trying to save the money so that I can get Ice Beam, you absolute horrible person. But we do need to grab a few items. We don't even need anything in this Safari Zone. We're just getting scammed. It's a literal rip-off. There we go. We've made it to the secret house. We've also picked up the gold teeth. Not that we particularly want to be touching anyone's false teeth, but we are going to be teaching Surf. Quick, sharp, and in a hurry. Water Pulse has served its purpose. Surf is going to be one of our strongest moves now for the entire challenge. And we can retire the heck out of here. And there's only one more thing I want to do in here for now, and that is take on Koga's gym. Now, Koga has surprisingly proved to be quite problematic in the past. In Generation 3 challenge runs, he ends up being a bit of a wall. So I hope that isn't the case this time. After a quick little heal, we are ready for Koga. He is our next gym leader, a poison type specialist here in Fuchsia City. Led with coughing that went down in one Surf. It's going to be a couple of hits on the mark as he minimalizes. Next is another coughing. That's going to be another one shot. We grow up to 44. And the last Pokemon is going to be Wheezing. We critical hit it away. So we obtain the Soul Badge in 49:36. Let's now try and get out of here. I hate this gym. I can't see the walls. I know there are walls, but I just cannot see them. Into the Pokemon Center we go. Quick heal. And it'll be off to Cinnabar. Now we've just grabbed the secret key here from Cinnabar Mansion, and we're going to go into Blaine's gym. And I'm thinking this will be a very easy experience for us. I'm curious actually to see how much Twister does against Growlithe. It isn't a one-shot, right? So we'll just do Surf against all of these trainers. I would actually much rather battle all of these trainers because they're going to be fairly easy battles to take on. And it's just free experience and free money. We're still trying to build up enough money to procure an Ice Beam from the Game Corner. It is 80,000 Pokédollars worth of coins, much like it is in Generation 2. However, we don't get access to the Scamulet coin, and we don't run through the league before we do our move tutor move there. So we have to pay for it out of our own pockets and not from like the rich corporation of the Pokemon League's pockets instead. So it's a little bit more of a grind, and I actually like that. I like putting in the work for the overpowered moves. That's one thing I don't really like about Surf, though. Surf is just as strong as Ice Beam. It's got more PP. Admittedly, it doesn't have a secondary effect, but it is so overpowered for zero effort, because you have to get Surf throughout the course of your gameplay, otherwise we wouldn't be here on the island in the first place. So it just seems like it is a little bit unbalanced, and does definitely tip the scales in favour of water types here in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and not just in Fire Red and Leaf Green to be fair. In every single game up until Generation 7 when Surf was no longer a HM. I think they may have even nerfed Surf ever so slightly as well then, but I could be wrong. Fairly certain in the more modern games it's only 90 power. I say only 90 power as if 90's a low base power move. It's still stronger than most other moves in the game. Let us now take on Blaine though. He is a fire type specialist, leads with Growlithe. One shot on the Growlithe to be expected. Bonus attack comes out to play and it goes away straight away. We grow to level 47. Here comes the Rapidash. There goes the Rapidash. Blaine is getting desperate now. He's just got an Arcanine left to go. It's another one shot. And we defeat Blaine to obtain the Volcano badge in 54-14. 6 gym badges down. 1 Silph Co next to come. Now, very quickly before we take on the rival in Silph Co, we are going to go to the game corner. And we are going to procure ourselves the rest of the coins that we need to get Ice Beam. Ice Beam's going to be the coverage that we need for the Execute and maybe the Pidgeot as well. I believe it's this vendor here, 1 at TM13 in the face. And now I think Secret Power has reached the end of its usable life. It was a very, very, very helpful move, but it is now outclassed by Return. So we will teach Ice Beam in the place of Secret Power, and then we should also have a PP Up hiding somewhere in the bag, and we'll give it some extra power points because it is a very low power point move. Oh, I wonder what happens to the overlay there. Did you see that? The moves all disappeared for a moment. Gen 3 is a very, very quirky game with Game Hook. I'm just glad it works at all. Oh, just noticed what they look like. Let us now go to the 3rd floor of Silph Co. I've already done a fair amount of work here in Silph Co, so we can go straight into the rival. This time he is still going to lead with his bird, but it has evolved into a Pidgeot. We're going to use an Ice Beam, guarantee the one shot. He'll send out his Growlithe next for no good reason. We'll get rid of it with a Surf, no problem at all there. Here comes Execute, it gets frozen in the face. And we have Alakazam next. Surf is a one shot on the Alakazam. He's got a Blastoise, we don't have anything too great for the Blastoise. So we're just going to Twister it and hope that we can flinch him more than he can do anything worthwhile. Just like that, rival is defeated. And now we can get ourselves our final HM friend at long last. This is Psyduck. Psyduck's going to be helping us out with Surf and Strength, if I can spell Psyduck. And I am very happy to have Psyduck on the team. HM friends are back. I did promise you that we wouldn't be losing the HM friends forever. So we do have Kenya, Abra, Psyduck and Paris, as you would expect any good HM friend team to be. It's just the Psyduck looks a little bit different today. He's in a disguise. He's gone into hiding because of Campatod in Route 34 in Johto. He doesn't want to join Campatod's team, so instead he's disguising himself as a Psyduck. Oh goodness me, this is a boss battle. Didn't even realise. This is Giovanni. He's a bit crap. Let's get rid of him. There we go. Easy, easy battle. We do need to talk to this guy here. We get the Master Ball. Don't need it. Can't sell it. It's just dead weight in the bag. We can get out of here now, though. We'll do a cheeky heal in the Pokémon Center. And it'll be time for our penultimate gym. I am very glad that they didn't swap the teleport puzzle around between Generations 3 and 2. I was able to use my same routing that I do for Generation 2 to get to Sabrina. It might not be the quickest, but it's the easiest to remember. Sabrina's going to be a pushover, by the way. We've got Surf, and we've got Return for the Alakazam. She was kind of a pointless battle, to be honest. We just had to do it to get her out of the way. Time of about 59.19 for Sabrina's badge, and then I get out by just doing up, right, right, and right. Maybe a couple of extra steps, but it is a lot less thinking. We can now fly back to Viridian City, where we have our final gym. They've kind of thrown all the storyline they could be bothered to give us in our face at this point. So we've got not much else left to do. Now, we do have to do the Hokey Cokey in this gym. We need to go in, out, and in again to get the most efficient route to Giovanni. Spoilers, by the way, he is the final gym leader. That joke has worn very, very thin. In the 7 or 8 FireRed videos we've done together, we are just going to get rid of every single Pokemon in this trainer. And then we have one more mandatory as well, this Black Belt. He's got long vision, which means he does block your way, which is a little bit annoying. But he is only a 3 Pokemon trainer, and I think His first Pokemon is his joint strongest. We should probably also PP heal as well, so we'll make the best of it. Jump over this ledge, get into the Pokemon Center, and I think we're in for a very, very, very easy gym battle, you know. Giovanni is a ground type specialist. He doesn't have his Kangaskhan, I don't believe, in this battle. And it will be one of the easiest gym battles KINGRDA will ever face. Let's engage him in battle. He's got 5 Pokemon, as you can see on screen. Leads with Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn's quad weak to water, it goes down in 1. We outspeed the Doug Trio, we grow to level 52 and we knock it out. Here comes Nidoqueen, there goes Nidoqueen. After Nidoqueen becomes Nidoking. After Nidoqueen becomes Nidoking. No, after Nidoqueen comes Nidoking. And there is a Rhydon in there for no good reason as well. Earth Badge acquired in a time of 1:01:06. That's all 8 gym badges acquired. Another quick PP heal, and it'll be time to go into the penultimate rival battle. This is the last proper ambush rival battle, so we will give him a slight bit of credit. I did hold on to a regular repel just for this movement here. I have been stung quite a few times by this battle, so let's hope this isn't one of those occasions. He leads with Pidgeot, Ice Beam one-shot, so we're off to a flying start. We'll use Ice Beam against the Rhyhorn as well as we grow to 53. Growl this out, we can surf, we know what's going to happen there. Up next is going to be Execute. We've got Ice Beam for Execute, so we don't need to worry about it. Alakazam comes out, let's use the Surf against it. Not quite a one-shot, but Calm Mind is meaningless. And then he's got his Blastoise. Why change the habit of a lifetime? We're just going to try and flinch this thing for a little bit. And then we'll use some returns as well. He crits us there, but it doesn't really mean anything. He tried his best. He's better than the Gen 2 rival. But then I think anything is better than the Gen 2 rival. And now we are just about making it through this absolute hot mess of a victory road. We should be able to get out of the other side, get our freedom. What do you offer us? Double Edge, no thank you. And we can leave. Now, I seem to remember there's another berry right about here. A Lumberry's actually really handy. And we go through the maze of bins, or whatever they're supposed to be. And we've made it to Victory Road and the Elite Four. We will buy our 4 full restores. We'll either need them or we won't. We've already got 3 in the bag, but I don't really mind. And we will deposit the HM friends. So it's a very big thank you to Kenya, to Paris, to Abra, and to Psyduck. You've all been a great help in this region. Couldn't have done it without you, but it is time for KINGRDA to shine. We are now at level 54 with 167 HP. We are holding the Pecha Berry still from the Koga battle, actually, with 133 in attack, 122 in defense, 144 in special attack, 128 in special defense, and 129 in speed. And then our 4 moves are Surf, Ice Beam, Twister, and Return. However, I think I am going to play full scumbag strats on this one. We are going to play it just like Juan plays his KINGRDA. We're going to learn Double Team in place of Twister. We have Ice Beam for the dragons. There's no need to have Twister as well. Let's get ourselves into the league. Let's see how it goes. Our rare candies are in play now that we're in the league. And our first league member is Lorelei. She's an Ice-type specialist who leads with Dugong. I'm going to set up a few double teams here, because I think this could be a fairly tricky battle. Return's probably going to be our best move, and she's managing to hit through an awful lot of our double teams already. This is not a good start. Let's use Surf against the Cloyster. It's going to be a 2-shot. Spikes is completely meaningless. We've got Slowbro next. What should we do for Slowbro? Return, maybe, and hope for the best. She's going for Amnesia. Yawn is annoying more than anything else, and she is healing looping. We might end up needing to use some rare candies straight away, in fact. We were very close to a level, so I've decided to just go back into Victory Road, get ourselves up to 55, so we're not wasting our rare candies. We'll go through the bin maze once more, and then we will also use some actual rare candies before getting into the league. We'll do a full PP heal, because we did use some PP there. Beating up Machop, drop a hard save just in case anything goes wrong, and we will use a grand total of In fact, why don't we just use all our rare candies? And now I've done the candying off camera because it does contain an awful lot of flashing lights. We learnt Dragon Dance, and because we're candying early, I've replaced Double Team with Dragon Dance. That was going to be the plan when we grew to level 62 regardless. And now we will take Lorelei on. She is, of course, the Ice-type specialist who's caused us a lot of grief so far. Leads with Dugong. We're going to try Dragon Dancing a couple of times. I don't care too much about the hail in this one. Maybe 3 Dragon Dances and hope we don't get frozen. How much do we do against this Dugong? We one-shot. Absolutely perfect. How about this Cloyster? It's stalling. Maybe we are better off using Surf against this Cloyster. Regardless, spikes are fine. Absolutely meaningless. Can stall all she likes. Doesn't change anything in the grand scheme of things. Return for the Slowbro. Not quite a one-shot, but we're not getting yawned by this Slowbro, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Let's try a return on the Jinx. We knock her out in one. We've just got Lapras left to go. Very, very nice bit of damage there against that Lapras. Not quite a one-shot, but we are able to get through Lorelei. And that was a time of 110.24. Up next is Bruno. Now we are a little bit beaten up, so we'll use a full restore at this juncture. And we'll take him on. Bruno is a fighting type specialist who leads with Onyx. I'm going to take advantage of him leading with Onyx because Onyx can't do that much. Our Dragon Dance is going to be negated every so often by a Rock Tomb. However, we are still going to be very, very nippy. Hitmonchan comes out to play. We will swap to Return for now. I think Return should be able to one-shot most of the things as we grow up to level 65. Return away the Hitmonlee. Here comes Machamp. We knock it out in one. And the last Pokemon is Onyx. We'll use the Surf against the Onyx. And Bruno was easy. Did you expect anything different? I didn't. And now, after a quick heal, it's time for Lance's Anti-Agatha, the perpetual pretender with the pesky poisonous Pokemon. And she leads with Gengar. One-shot the Gengar, get rid of it straight away. Ice Beam on the Golbat should be a one-shot as well. Here comes Arbok. Intimidate means nothing. We will surf it away. It's going to be a 2-shot on this Arbok, but we didn't get poisoned by Sludge Bomb. I think that means we should have the win in the bag now, as we'll surf on the Gengar. We have been sent to sleep, though, so I cannot celebrate too quickly. Nightmare is horrific, and it's a long sleep. Goodness me, Agatha. You scumbag. Let's try that again, shall we? Surf on the Gengar. Toxic's missed. She's in a healing loop already. We must have high-rolled that first try. We know that we can Ice Beam the Golbat and it will just disappear. Arbok is next. Intimidate is meaningless because we are just going on our special attacks this time. Gengar's next. I'll try an Ice Beam turn 1. Hypnosis has missed and then we should be able to finish it off turn 2. Now I'm confident in saying we have the win because she's only got a Haunter left. It goes down. And we have defeated Agatha on our second try. Alright, here comes trouble. It's time for Lance the Liar. Let's use a Hyper Potion and let us use... Do we have a regular elixir? No, we don't. Should be fine, actually. We do have a regular elixir higher up as well, I just noticed. We'll take Lance on, though. He should be a joke, to be fair. We'll use Ice Beam against the Gyarados. Dragon Rage is going to do some damage, but not enough for me to get worried. It would be nice if we freeze the Gyarados, just like that. 1 in 10 chance, I believe, of thawing out in Generations 3 with the Frozen status condition. Get through both of the Dragonair. If we get through the Dragonair, we get through the Dragonite. And his last Pokemon is Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is not Scarodactyl in this instance. We defeat him, we grow to a nice clean 67. And we have defeated Lance first try. Full Restore. Max Elixir. Probably hold on to some kind of useful berry as well. That would have helped in the league, actually. Completely forgot berries existed. I reckon just a Lum berry will do the trick here, in case we get statused. And it is time for the final battle of the challenge. It's triple question mark. Triple exclamation mark, rather. And he leads with Pidgeot. We'll Ice Beam the Pidgeot. We don't quite one-shot it. Frozen but instant thaw. Kinda mean game. You give and you take away. Don't think that's a one-shot, I think that's a range the entire time. Alakazam is next. We've missed, and he's got a future sight. I'm just going to take a reset there. Not dealing with those kind of shenanigans. Let's try again. Maybe it isn't a range. It isn't a range. Nice. Alakazam's next. Do we one-shot? No, we don't, but he's gone for a critical hit psychic with a Spadef drop. Cheers, game. Love that RNG for us. Third time's the charm, so they say. Get rid of the Pidgeot. Alakazam's next. We're going to use a single Dragon Dance. Psychic didn't crit. Knock out the Alakazam. Executor comes out to play. We use Ice Beam. We don't quite one-shot, but Sleep Powder misses. That means he is caught in a healing loop. He is going to waste his full restores. We do not mind that in the slightest. A crit gets rid of the Executor. We'll surf on the Rhydon. Absolutely no need to worry about that Pokemon. No need to worry about the Arcanine either. Extreme Speed's going to do a little bit of damage, but not too much. And now here comes the Blastoise. Let's see how much return does. He's gone for Rain Dance. I don't mind that. Just means I'm going to use a couple of Dragon Dances here. Bite's going to do nothing as well. Let us use Return. We knock it out, and we have defeated the champion in 1:15:19. I forgot to split, didn't I? For the league, never mind. 1:15:19 was our final time for the champion, and our final Hall of Fame time for this challenge is 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 30 seconds. Not bad going for our first challenge back. Should we take a look at the leaderboard? And somehow that time has put us in first place on the FireRed leaderboard. Maybe I'm not quite as bad at FireRed as I thought I was. Or maybe the timer was accidentally paused somewhere mid-run. Who knows? I'll take it regardless though. 6 minutes ahead of Lapras, which was our old PB. And Water-type dominance is definitely a thing here in Generation 3. I do hope you've enjoyed this fairly disjointed run through FireRed. I have had a lot of fun. It's been very difficult in places to get all the technical things working, but I am excited to see the future of the channel here in Generation 3 Kanto. If you have enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. If you've got any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.